Hello, you may remember one or two videos back I was testing the 4 heavy pellets through the Brocock and the Falcon. Well, what I've done now, I've actually weighed the pellets from each tin, and consistency wise, weight wise, they're not what they should be. The Daystate Heavy field targets that are supposed to weigh 10.25 grains are quite a bit heavier actually. So what my intentions were to weigh first 40 pellets at the same weight, and then 20 from each I'd use in each rifle to do a chronograph test. Now, it took me 96 pellets in total to find 40 that matched. I had 3 pellets weighing 10 grains, I had 2 pellets weighing 9.9 grains, I had 10 pellets weighing 10.2 grains, and then I got into more or less the averages then. I got 40 pellets weighing 10.3 grains, 29 pellets weighing 10.5 grains, 11 pellets weighing 10.6 grains, and 1 pellet weighing 10.8 grains, so almost a grain difference there between the top and the bottom. So what I've done, I'm going with the first 40 I got to. So I'll be firing 20 shots through the Falcon at 10.3 grains, and then I'll be firing 20 shots through the Brocock Concept, and we'll see what results we're getting. So it just shows you with that kind of variation, if you do chronograph tests and you don't weigh the damn things, it can make a big difference to your results. So the Falcon is not regulated, but there's supposed to be really good valve systems on these. They're a very sought after rifle, not made anymore. Aeron's bought them out, and they never continued it. I think they basically wiped out the opposition. Nice rifles, so we'll get them on the test. I won't show you the boring bit of chronographing every single pellet, so what I'll do from now on, you'll see the results for each pellet with each rifle. But the first pellet up will be from the Daystate Heavy field targets that supposedly weigh 10.25 grains. I'm choosing the 10.3 grain, which seems to be a bit more of. So we'll get on with the test. Here's a view of the pellet chart that I made. What I did, my intention were to start counting out the pellets, and the first set of 40 that all weighed the same, that is the pellet I would use in the test. As you can see, the first 40 was a 10.3 grains, and that's what I used for the first test using the Daystate Heavy field targets. That was closely followed by the 10.5 grain pellet weights, but I went with what I'd got there, and that's the start of the test. Okay then, this is the first result from the Daystate Heavy field target pellets. The first rifle in the test was the Falcon Prairie. Now the Prairie, it's not regulated, but it did have what they call a self-regulating valve, and they're pretty consistent. As you can see from the tests, the average velocity was 708.95 feet per second, or 11.49 foot-pounds. The highest reading was 714 feet per second, or 11.66 foot-pounds, and the low reading was 703 feet per second, or 11.3 foot-pounds. This gave an extreme spread of 11, or a standard deviation of 2.85. So not a bad result really. Moving over to the Brocock. Now this one, same again, it had its heritage from the Falcons, but this one I put a Ultralos regulator in it myself.
and it's doing pretty good on these pellets at that weight. 10.3 grains. It's having an average of 720.75 feet per second, or 11.87 foot-pounds. High reading of 724 feet per second, or 11.99 foot-pounds, and a low reading of 717 feet per second, or 11.76 foot-pound. As you can see, out of the 20 shots, it had an extreme spread of 7 feet per second and a standard deviation of just 1.98. So yeah, it seems to do well with these pellets, and that was the first part of the test. So now we move on to the Daystate Rangemaster Sovereign at, should be 10.3 grains, and luckily enough, when I measured them out, I managed to get it at 10.3 grains, and you'll see that on the next pellet chart that I made. Right, during the next sorting of the pellets, it was a bit more consistent this time, so I didn't need to sort so many. As you can see from the pellet chart, the first batch that I sorted into 40 pellets came out at 10.3 grains, which these are claimed on the tin as 10.3 grains. So definitely more consistent than the last results. We had one pellet at 10 grains, 11 pellets at 10.2 grains, and then the 40 at 10.3. I just picked them out of the tin, you know, and weighed them as they were. It was 7 at 10.5 grains, 3 at 10.6 and 1 at 10.8. But as soon as I got me 40 pellets, that's when I stopped counting. So from here on, I went on and did the test. Okay, here's the results from the next test. As you can see, first up I used the Falcon again. The average was 712.25 feet per second, or 11.61 foot-pounds. The high was 724 feet per second, or 11.99 foot-pounds. And the low was 703 feet per second, or 11.3 foot-pounds. Extreme spread this time was 21 feet per second with a standard deviation of 6.49, which is quite a big gap really. I think there's a couple of shots in there that was upsetting the actual group. But moving on to the Brocock Concept, we had 713.35 feet per second, or 11.64 foot-pounds. 700, that was the average. 719 feet per second, or 11.82 foot-pounds maximum, the highest reading. And the low was 708 feet per second, or 11.46 foot-pounds. This gave an extreme spread of 11 feet per second and a standard deviation of 2.7. So again, not too bad on there. Okay, then the next pellet was a Bisley Magnum. Now these are getting into the heavy end now. On the tin it's saying it's weighing 10.65 grains. It weren't far out actually. I counted 95 pellets to get my first batch of 40, and it was closely followed, not far behind, by the 10.5 grains. So the first 40 that I got to was the 10.6 grains, so it's more or less spot on really. Closely followed by the 10.5. We did have 7 pellets at 10.8, At the lower end we had 2 pellets at 10.2 grains and 9 pellets at 10.3 grains, but looking at the results, they're pretty much in the ballpark here between 10.5 and 10.6 grains, so I consider that pretty good really. These do normally shoot very well through my rifles, whether it be Brocock, Falcon, or my son's Daystate Wolverine. So a good pellet and choice in the wind, and they're pretty accurate as well. So now we'll move on to the actual results from the test. Okay, the test results, and first off with the Falcon, we had an average of 704.65 feet per second, or 1169 foot-pounds. A high reading of 712 feet per second, or 1193 foot-pounds, and a low reading of 697 feet per second, or 11.43 foot-pounds, giving an extreme spread of 15 feet per second, or in a standard deviation of 4.11. Moving on, we'll get into the Brocock Concept. These are a better result actually. Whether it's a regulator I don't know, but we had an average of 705.4 feet per second, or 11.7 foot-pounds, high reading of 707 feet per second, or 11.76 foot-pounds, and a low reading of 702 feet per second, or 11.6 foot-pounds. This gave an extreme spread of 5 feet per second and a standard deviation of 1.54, which is pretty good actually, and I do find these shoot well through the rifle. Again, they do well in the wind and they are accurate. So we'll now move on to the final pellet, which is the Baracuda match made by H&N, and these look very similar to the Bisley Magnums, but they do give different results for accuracy, so there must be slight differences in there. So we'll move on. Okay then, we're now coming on to the final pellet of the test, which is the H&N Baracuda match at 10.65 grains according to the tin. As you can see from the results on the pellet sorting, 10.6 grains, 10.5 grains were neck and neck all the way. There's only one pellet in it in the end, and I think the 10.5 just pipped it, but because it was only one in it, I decided to weigh one more, and it did end up being the 10.6, and that's what I went with in the end. Looking at the full results though, we've got 1 at 10 grains, 2 at 10.2 grains, 13 at 10.3 grains, then we go straight up to the 10.5 grains with 40, 10.6 grains with 40, and then 2 at 10.8 grains. So fairly consistent between the 10.5, 10.6, so you can consider that pretty much what it is on the tin. So next we'll go on to the actual results. Okay, now the final results then for the Baracuda match. First we look at the Falcon Prairie, and we got an average of 704.35 feet per second, or 11.67 foot-pounds. High reading of 708 feet per second, or 11.8 foot-pounds, and a low reading of 697 feet per second, or 11.3 foot-pounds. It's given us an extreme spread of 11 feet per second and a standard deviation of 3.10. Moving on to the Brocock Concept, we've got a average of 705.95 feet per second, or 11.73 foot-pounds. A high of 709 feet per second, or 11.83 foot-pounds, and a low reading of 704 feet per second, or 11.66 foot-pounds. This gave us an extreme spread of 5 feet per second and a standard deviation of 1.54 feet per second, so a pretty good result there. I did find that these did group very well, so a good alternative to Bisley Magnum. Right, so that completes the tests on the 4 pellets that I'd shot recently. Moving on, I'm expecting a pellet arriving tomorrow in the post that I've been told about by Mark Homer, and this one is another H&N pellet, and it's known as the Baracuda FT field target, and this weighs I think 9.57 grains. So I'll be doing all the usual tests on that one, and I hope to see you soon. So thanks for watching.